Okay, welcome back to another Rails Minute. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Bostrom, Rails Member Engagement Manager. I'm here with Deirdre Brennan, Rails Executive Director. The Rails Minute is our attempt to bring you more information about what's happening with the system. Deirdre, I'm going to jump right into it. We have some vacancies on the Rails Board of Directors. Can you talk about what we're looking for?
Sure, thanks, and hi, everybody. Yeah, so it's about that time of year again. We have an election every spring with the new terms taking effect on July 1, the new fiscal year. So this year we have three public library trustee seats are open and two at-large seats. So the way that we had 15 members on our board, and we have a number of seats that a majority of the board are seats for public library trustees. That's in the Illinois laws, actually. And then we have some at-large seats, and then we have a school library seat, an academic library seat, and a special library seat. So this year we have three trustees. All the incumbents are eligible to run, and I'm hoping that they will, in addition to other non-incumbents. We also have two at-large seats, and one of the incumbents there is not eligible. You can only serve 2 terms at any one time. So we're really, I think we've done a good job over the years with getting good geographic diversity and different sizes of libraries, but really want to get a truly, more diverse board in every way, kind of in conjunction with our EDI, equity, diversity, and inclusion initiative that we're going to talk about more later too. It's, we really want the board to be more representative, to, look more like, the Rails service area population. So, and we're all, we're extremely interested also in not, it tends to be directors of libraries of whatever type, and we're really trying to get get different job titles, because that's all just different experience. It brings a different viewpoint. So so stay tuned. That'll all be on the website. And I'm hoping that we'll get we always get a great pool of candidates, but I hope that this year we'll get an even better one.
Yeah, good opportunity for a lot of different people,
Right.
and it would be really nice to see. And I feel like we've done a great job. Like you said, we've done a great job in the past. Be great to see new faces. Always
Right.
good to have new faces and new people on there. So, okay, a lot going on this week. Next week we are starting a new delivery quarantine timeline.
Yeah.
What does that mean for libraries?
So we are reducing our quarantine time for items that go through Rails delivery from 72 hours to 24 hours. That takes effect on February 24th, so 24 on the 24th. And what it means is that we have asked all of our member libraries to quarantine items that are going into Rails delivery for 24 hours. And I mean, for 72 hours, and now that's going down to 24 hours. For libraries that, for items that that are not going into delivery, it's completely up to the library what they want to do. That's always been the case. So we think that, we've heard from members that they wanted us to do this, and we feel comfortable with it because, it's going to be almost a year that we've been in this pandemic. We closed, I think, everything down last March 16th, like most of the world did. And we've learned a lot about transmission of the virus, and it really doesn't transmit, or you don't get it from surfaces, you get it from the air, droplets. And that's why masking is so important, and social distancing. So we think this is good for everybody. We think it's good for libraries. They'll have more access to better resource sharing. Patrons will have, more and quicker access to library materials. So that's why we made the decision. Heartland is also moving, but they're moving to 48 hours instead. So.
Okay. 24 on the 24th.
Right.
That is a very, very easy to remember.
Right.
Okay, great. What else is happening around Rails? What else would you like people to know about?
Well, we are having our board meeting next week, and there's a number of interesting items on the board agenda. One is a report on the progress of our equity, diversity, and inclusion initiative, which we mentioned earlier in talking about seeking candidates for the board. So we've been working a lot on our internal, culture, looking at ourselves, but we have launched a very impressive and enthusiastic committee that the board established that just met yesterday, actually, and we've identified some priority subcommittees, so people should be looking for that. We're also going to be revisiting the issue of funding for statewide access to databases for all member libraries in Illinois. We think that the time is right to ask for this new funding. This would not take the place of or cut into our existing funding, but it's very much needed. We're the only state in the country that doesn't do this. And we've done a lot of research, especially Layla Heath, and she brought back a staggering number. In Ohio, they spend about, I don't know if it was between $3 and $5 million a year on this. It is an annual thing, and the number that she got about the savings in for libraries throughout Ohio was $57 million a year. So, I mean, even if that's a little, inflated, even if it's just half that, think of what libraries could, would do with that money. And it's just such a duplication of expenditure. And, libraries that can't afford any databases don't have any. So it will also help to kind of level the playing field. So that we're bringing that back to the board. We're also going to be talking about the LSAP funding support and how we do that. We think that the board needs to have a better understanding. There have been some questions from some of the consortia. And we also are going to give them an update on the delivery RFP that we may be issuing. So a lot of big stuff is coming up.
Yeah. Sounds like it's going to be jam-packed.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so this is the point where we turn to member questions. And if you do have a question, a reminder, you can always leave a comment below, or you can email them to communications@railslibraries.info. Like a lot of librarians, library workers, I know that Deirdre, you've been attending the ILA, the Illinois Library Association's legislative meetups. Can you talk about more about what you're seeing at these events? What people are saying?
Sure. Yes, I was just at one this morning, actually, or earlier this afternoon. The western suburbs. Two Congress people, I think 2 or 3 were there. A lot of local legislators. I think and I've been to maybe 4 or 5 at this point. Since you can go virtually, right? Why not, right? I love hearing what the legislators have to say, what their questions are. ILA has done a fabulous job with their presentations and telling library stories. What has been somewhat surprising, maybe it's not fair of me, but it has been really wonderful and surprising how much the legislators know about what libraries have been doing during the pandemic. And, with, virtual services, news services, going out of their way to help people in their communities, opening up so they can, somebody can fax their unemployment, application. What they've said is that, they've been getting phone calls. My library is closed. What's going on? I need my library to be open. Otherwise I can't do this or I can't do that. And they themselves rely on libraries a lot of times as places to meet their constituents. So it's really been, they've just been great. I really, and they've been, legislators very supportive of libraries. So There's some big federal legislation that's been that's being contemplated. Build America's Libraries. That's $5 billion with a B dollars, which is, I mean, it's a drop in the bucket for the feds, but it's a lot for libraries. So, I think, all of these things, again, go to us thinking that the time is right for us to ask for this database funding, because that it has been very clear that online and electronic resources have just skyrocketed the use of them. So, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah. Awesome. Big news, big things on the horizon. Good
Yes.
things on the horizon for
Yes,
Rails
exactly.
and for libraries. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, well, that will do it for us for this episode of Rails Minute. Deirdre, thank you for joining me,
Thank you.
and we will see you next time.